College football is so different today with regards to the transfer portal, redshirting, and more. I want to talk about all of that with a former Florida State Seminole, Nile Lawrence Stample. Nile, talk to me just about the highs and lows of redshirting before we jump into today's game.
Yeah, man. Red shirting is a great opportunity for some players, and some players it's a little bit detrimental because there's a lot of time. You get a lot of time when you're redshirted, and you have the opportunity to either take advantage of that time in a good way or a bad way. So for me, I got redshirted my freshman year because I played defensive. I played defensive tackle for 1 year in high school, but I played linebacker primarily. So when I got in, I had a huge learning curve ahead of me. So I ended up getting redshirted, and I took advantage of it in kind of both regards. One, I was able to kind of focus on some of the little things in order to get better, but other part of it, I got to legitimately live the best college life I possibly could have as a freshman in college. Like, we got to enjoy that time after on Thursdays where the regular team goes to their hotel and stuff. We're going home. So we got to kind of go out, we got to party, we got to have fun, and we got to really live that college experience to the fullest. And then as you kind of get to that end of that season to where you potentially have an opportunity to play at the end of the season, or get ready for that next season, that's when I started kind of dialing it back and trying to figure it out. But the actual reason on why some of these players get redshirted and don't really do it because and don't really make it anywhere is because of the time. And if you don't take advantage of that gap that you have, you can kind of fall to the wayside. You can get in trouble. You have all
Sure.
this idle time. So finding the right people to do that with is super important. And then once that redshirt year is up, the time is you're on the clock. You've already been there one season, so now you're a redshirt freshman. You should be somewhere on the map. You have another incoming freshman coming in order to say, okay, well, I'm not going to get redshirted. So now we're technically both freshmen, and now we both have to compete for the starting spot, even though you've been there for an extra year. So you really should be one head a step of the game, but realistically, some of those players are, some of those players aren't. But it's a fierce competition when you come into spring camp and you're or fall camp and you are a redshirt freshman and you're going against a true freshman, and who's going to actually get that spot.
Yeah, in today's game, it's so much different now because they can play up to 4 games.
Yeah.
You'll see guys like, you know, are they going to play in this game? Are they not? What are they? Are they saving it to be strategic? Get them a lot of reps against a North Alabama or
Yeah.
a weaker team that you expect more guys to get in. Or man, we need you here. Right? We didn't think we were going to need you, but this guy goes down. We need you to be ready to
You got
play.
to get in.
It's weird how red shirts today are different than they were back then. And then this is what I really want to get your thoughts on. Man, the transfer portal is insane to where, man, if somebody's getting told they may redshirt, or if they have redshirted, or if there's any kind of worry about not playing, they may just get up and leave. And so it's a very different game this year. What thoughts around that, or thoughts? I don't know if there's a way to fix that or not. I mean, I don't know that we'll do it here today, but just thoughts on that in general.
Yeah, the portal is going to obviously continue to change the way things happen, and it's all a ripple effect. You don't really realize what's going to happen until it actually happens. You can see some of the writing on the wall, but you're not able to really figure out what exactly it is. So I think that the portal will play a huge role, especially when it comes to the red shirting of players, because it's all time, right? If a player doesn't think that they need that time in order to develop, they're going to figure out somewhere that they can go and fast track themselves onto the field. As well as there's a difference that people don't really realize, is that it's the relationship that gets built once you are in the aspect of moving to another school. So let's say I'm at Florida State and I'm going to potentially get redshirted, but I have someone else coming over to this school that is going to now play that year in front of me, even though I know next year I'm supposed to be that guy. So those relationships are going to be very tough to have if I'm supposed to be that next guy and you're bringing in someone to replace me. Why would I want to stay at this school if there's no loyalty from me? me. So that is going to play a huge role in terms of the relationship development with some of these players, because I'm supposed to be him, but you're coming in order to replace me. So I think that is going to play a huge role in some of these redshirting issues, and why some of these players aren't gonna kind of stand up for it.
Yeah, and and I just wonder, like the sport and the game just seems to be changing
Oh,
like
so much.
weekly and hourly, with NIL and the transfer portal and things that we think are like inherently good things that also people can certainly take advantage of, poorly, negatively, just like anything else in life, right? Like it's how you use it. But honestly, I think what most of it comes down to, I'll let you answer this and share your thoughts, but I think most of it comes down to what their mindset is, one way or the other. You mentioned at the very beginning, the way they either embrace it or neglect it, the time they have. At the end of the day, whether you redshirt or not, whether you get that extra year or not, it's all going to come down to what your mindset of embracing that or neglecting it is.
Yeah, no, 100%. And if anyone's mindset is not on purely coming in and getting that starting spot, it is not going to work at any university in the country. It does not matter. So if you think that you've come to Florida State and you're sitting behind a four-star player that's playing well and you can't develop behind this player, unless there's some massive coach change, unless there's some really big thing that has gone on within that program that makes you feel like you need to leave, if you don't have the mindset to compete and get that starting spot and you go to another school, that grit, that crumb, that opportunity will never happen again in order for you to elevate yourself on another level. Competition creates greatness. Competition creates opportunities for players to see something within themselves that they never saw before. So transferring out of a school because of that reason is going to change the game of college football at some point in time. And I hope it doesn't
Sure.
happen sooner than later. And I hope that we can figure things out prior to that.
Now you're doing a podcast now. You're doing a show. Jumping into this a little bit. Talk to us a little bit about that. Where people can find it. What you got going, and we'll wrap up and get out of here.
Yeah, for sure. So I am doing basically a series of Nolan with Nile, and it's more or less just me speaking about FSU football, me talking about some of the older times that we had, as well as comparing it to kind of what's going on right now. I've have the luxury of being able to kind of converse with some players that are currently there, as well as some players that are obviously former players of my counterparts, and kind of speaking with them on what their thoughts are going on in college football right now and kind of what it looked like back then. So you can find us at you can find me at Nolan with Nile on YouTube, and then at Nile underscore law 99 on Instagram. I have a ton of content on there as well that's just really cool and informative, and kind of talking about some of the newer players and what they look like, what some of the draft stuff was like, and what in terms of my perspective. So yeah, Nolan with Nile or at Nile underscore law 99.
Awesome. Good stuff. We'll link all of that in the description. Make sure you guys go subscribe, follow there. And man, I really appreciate you taking some time and chatting with us today.
Yeah, man, had an awesome time, man. I can't wait to do it again.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy.